the recording. And okay, I think we are live, Joel. Welcome.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm super excited to have you. So everybody, to begin, my name is Dr. Victoria. I am the founder of Growing Kind Minds and also Permission Slip Parenting, which really supports parents on their parenthood journey. And I'm excited because I get to talk to people like Joel. Joel Geller, you are the executive director of Gersh
Gersh Driver Education.
Thank you, driver education. And I'm excited because you and I met, and you're going to have a moment to introduce yourself and what you want to share, but you and I met during an autism expo, and you were like a bright light in the room. And I'll share with everybody, I was, you know, when you're getting ready for stuff and you're thinking to yourself, oop, is that you?
That was me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It happens. We're live. So, you know, anything happens live. So I'm getting ready for the expo. We're all at our tables, and I'm not ready yet, but like you're with your bright shining face walking around, you know, just ready to like introduce yourself. And in my mind, I was thinking, I want to meet that guy, but I'm not ready yet. I need my table to be ready first. And you were just so kind and supportive and helpful. And then when I found out what you do, I thought, oh my God, where were you like 15 years ago when I sat with families and didn't know who to send them to? So thank God I know you now. And can you just introduce yourself? Because I don't think that, you know, people obviously know you, but tell us what you do in the world. And we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, like she said, my name is Joel Geller. I'm the executive director for Gersh Driver's Education, which is under Gersh Academy, which is a school for autism. We have a couple of programs here. One is your neurotypical driver's ed program for 16 and 17-year-olds. And then we also have another program, which is called the extended program. It's open to all abilities. We do specialize people with some sort of a developmental disability. The program is outstanding. It instills independence. My tagline is paving the road for independence. And what's the ultimate in independence? To be able to get up and go where you want, when you want. It promotes socialization. It helps with getting a job. Most people with some sort of a developmental disability just want to be like everybody else. They want to get a job. They want to drink their coffee. They want to get up and go to sleep. That's what this promotes. So they can be an effective part of society like anybody else. And there's really nothing that I have found out about the people in my program that they can't do that I can. It's just a different way of teaching. My core value is they don't learn the way we teach. We teach the way they learn. So all you need to do is just find that little area that works for them. It may not work for for the person sitting next to them. So you have to tailor things on the fly. And again, there's nothing that they can't do. And when they get their license, it's like nothing you've ever seen. You know, I get emotional along with them. It's just, I enjoy this. This is my passion.
I can feel it. I just got the tingles, and not just because I'm an emotional person, but I got it. Like I feel you. And I'm thinking back, Joel, to when I got my license. I don't even remember. I think I passed the first time, or I didn't pass the first time because I didn't know how to make, you know, the turn was too wide. And then I remember getting my license, and I was in college at the time. So I was a little bit older than most kids getting their licenses now, but I think let's just peel back the layers of what you just shared, because I think it's important we talk about this rite of passage, this like moment of independence that kids really want to have, just like everybody else.
Right.
And what do you think comes up for people when they think, oh my gosh, my child is going to want to drive a car? Like what are the barriers to that road that you're talking about promoting? What actually is happening? for like the typical kid to the kid that might have a difference in life perspective or ability.
Right. Well, I mean, your typical 16 and 17-year-old, they want to get their license. They want to go, go, go. I mean, you said you didn't get yours until you were in college. I won't say when I got mine, but
We want to know, when did you get yours?
1983. Something tells me maybe you were a glimmer in mom and dad's eye, but something tells me not. But
I will
you know,
never tell.
but you're neurotypical, like I said, it's something completely different. There's a different mindset. When you're 16 and 17, you want to get your car, you want to go out with your friends, you want to go to the movies, you want to take your girlfriend out to dinner, whatever it may be. The other program, it's a 180-degree mindset. A lot of times, they don't want to drive. I've had and still have students that will come to me that say, I don't want to drive. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't want to drive. And it's not so much, and I tell them, listen, mom and dad are not, oh, I'm sorry, mom and dad are not having you get your license to go grocery shopping every day. And this has worked, I think, 100% of the time when I'll talk to the students, say, listen, mom and dad want you to have a license just in case. If you're going somewhere with mom and God forbid something happens, not only do you know how to get them off the road, you're legally allowed to get them off the road. You can just get them to the side of the road. You can take them home. You can get them to a hospital, whatever it may be. If you want to go to McDonald's and mom and dad say take the car, take the car. Invariably, seriously, every time I've said that, the students go, oh, okay. It takes the pressure off. The big thing also is going to college, okay, and getting a job.
Whoa, wait, back it up. Hold on. You just said something. See, Joel, because you do this so much, you don't realize when you're dropping bombs of wisdom. So I'm just going to stop you for a minute and just, I want to roll. No, don't be sorry. I just, I want to interject here because.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm getting, and I didn't even think about it this way either, is that when we introduce, what you're saying is sometimes the introduction of driving a vehicle is this like big thing that, and for some kids, it's like, this is a big thing. I really, really want it. And for others, it's like, why is this such a big deal? Why is there so much pressure? I don't want this, right? So you're saying that the way that it's unpacked, the way that the mindset, the way that we perceive this time in life is different for different kids. That not every kid is going to be turned on and inspired by the idea of, I get to have a car. In fact, I'm thinking about a teen that I'm working with that's about to go to college next year. And when I first started working with her a year ago, she was like, I don't want to drive a car. I don't want, now she, even though it's not straight because the parking lot outside my office is right here, but like she'll park her own car. She loves having her own keys. She gets to, do the things that she needs to do. So everybody comes to this differently. And what you're saying is that we have to be sensitive to that.
Yes. I mean, one of the biggest things that in life, and not only this, that a lot of people don't have is empathy. You need to put yourself in their shoes. What is it that they want to do, regardless of what it is? Like I said before, one of the main things is independence. They want to be able to go where they want to go. They don't have to depend on mom, dad, Uber, Lyft, the scat bus, whatever it is. They don't want to have to depend on that. They want to be able to get up and go, especially if they want a job. Okay. I've had students, okay, that were unable to get a job because they couldn't get there. They didn't have a reliable mode of transportation to get from home to where it is. But now that they have a license, they go out, they get a job. I've had students just recently that were able to get jobs because they passed their road test.
Wow.
And it's just, it's hard to explain. You have to.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna effectively explain it because Joel, this is gold, right? Because listen, I also work with families, so I've got parents and even myself. I have my own thoughts about this, right? Like, aren't you excited? And then we come with this energy, so we have to kind of taper it. And like you said, have compassion and most importantly, empathy for what's going on for that particular child.
Right.
And so what do you think it is? Because as you said, there's this correlation of kids graduating, from this with their license and then getting
Mhm.
a job. And for me, that just screams confidence shoots up.
Exactly.
Is that what you're
100%.
saying?
100%. They exude emotion, okay, which a lot of people don't do, and they do it a lot more than other people. Prime example, one of my students that got their license, I'm sure you've seen memes, not memes, little snippets on Facebook where somebody applied to colleges and they're on Facebook and they're doing it live to see if they got accepted to the college of their choice. And they did, and they jump up and down. This one student filmed that getting their license. Things have changed a little bit. They no longer tell you if you passed or failed right there and then. They now give you a little card and you have to, go into a link. Well, she filmed that. And when she read that she passed and she screamed and she got so emotional, I got emotional right along with her. And it's just a great feeling because a lot of people that come to this program don't think they can do it, but they can. One of the things that I learned in the very beginning, when designing the course, is my boss Kevin Gersh had said. I said to him, parents usually they know what their child can or cannot do, and he said, nope, that's not true. They don't know what they can do. The children know, or the students know what they can do. How many times when you were younger, mom and dad said, do this, 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 and that, and you didn't do it, but you went to a friend's house and boom, look, you did it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times parents don't know what their children, can do, until you put them in a situation of their peers and you teach them differently and you communicate differently. A lot of people think, oh, you have to, in order to communicate with them, there's nothing than me talking with you. Everyone communicates in their own way.
Mhm.
Okay. But in this course, they can communicate just as easily, like I said, as you and I talking. If they don't like something or they have a problem with something, they're going to tell you.
Mm.
And you just need to learn to adapt to them. The case in point, my father was a physical education teacher. He was a gym teacher. He was a big man. Not big this way, but just big. And he used to teach grades 1 through 6.
Mhm.
There are a lot of times his principal would come in and he'd be sitting on the floor talking to them. The principal would be like, well, why aren't you standing up talking to them? He goes, look at them and look at me. Do you know how intimidating I am when I
Mhm.
stand up? I get down on their eyesight level and it calms them down like anything else. So it's the same way. You need to know how to work with them and communicate with them to where they're not going to be intimidated. And that's one of the other things that I strive for in my classes with my teachers.
Joel, it looks to me like you have this very special way of seeing folks, like, you know, and it's similar, and I just relate to it because it's like when I meet someone who's really quote unquote, challenging or like reluctant or resistant, I always think of like what's possible with them and that anything that they really want to achieve inside of this is possible. And it sounds like you see people that way. You see the possibility rather than all of the impediments.
Exactly. Anything is possible. Okay. It's all about giving them the opportunity. If they don't try it, how are they going to know? Okay. I heard, I don't remember who said it the other day. There's no, like passing and failing or winning and losing. You're either winning or you're learning.
I love that.
And I just thought that was so apropos because in order to, and I forget the exact wording, but Vincent van Gogh said, in order to succeed, you must fail. I don't know if they say the exact quote, but it's true. How many times, do you try to do something and you don't until you do? And then that feeling of actually getting it, like driving a car, they're behind the wheel, they got their license. I never thought I'd be able to do this. Guess what? You did.
Love it.
So it's just, like I said, you're either
Not
winning or you're learning.
It's like not being scared of the F word,
Right,
failure, not the other F word. Although
right.
it's okay with the other F word too. I'm a big colorful vocabulary, I have a colorful vernacular, but yeah, not being afraid of the F word, not being afraid to fail, because as you said, if you're not winning, you are learning. Wow. Okay. So I want to just break in the talk about the work and just ask a little bit about you because you mentioned your dad. And
Mhm.
then you're very passionate. Lots of people in this profession love it, but they're also burned out, right? Like the joy has like seeped out of like the,
Right.
what they're doing.
Mhm.
And you're just like a jelly bean. Like I said, when I met you, you were like, but like your energy is just so. What is your story? Like, why do you do this? Why do you choose to spend your time doing this?
It started about 7 years or so ago, when I was given the opportunity to be the executive director of, the driver ed program for the 16 and 17-year-olds. And Kevin Gersh said to me, I want you to teach kids, with disabilities how to drive. What did I know? Okay. My piece of paper says marketing. Um, so I spent time in the schools that we
You're a
have.
marketer. You have a background in marketing.
I have a background in marketing, yes.
Okay.
So I spent time in the schools observing. When I first started doing this, I had asked, she was the principal at the time, I believe, what's the best thing I can do to learn more about this world? And she said, observe, sit in a classroom and watch.
Mm,
Um, I did that. I sat in classroom after classroom, anywhere from, young children, nonverbal, all the way up to, if you want to say Asperger's, which is, the high end of the spectrum. Um, and I observed and I learned and I found out, everybody has their own thing that could set them off. It could be a word, it could be the way you look at it could be anything. So I did that and I read some books, and I've always been been able to communicate with people with special needs. My mother, and this is going back a long time, was president of United Cerebral Palsy
wow.
in Nassau County. So I grew up, around special needs people. I was always able to communicate. When they're trying to say something, if they can't get it out, okay, you sit there and you wait till you get it out. Don't finish their sentence. I've always been able to communicate and get along with people with special needs. Um, I take my time, there's no rush. And again, the empathy. When they start feeling comfortable with you, that's the most important thing. Okay. You cannot go into their world unless they accept you into their world. If they don't accept you into their world, you're done.
That's a Hail Mary statement. Yep. That's right. It's like,
Pretty much.
yeah, you got to buy that, the trust, the rapport. It needs to
Mhm.
happen before you do anything. I love that.
Exactly. So when I started with the program, again, I was very ignorant, to the world of special needs. I figured, well, when I do this program, there's got to be something like that out there. It just has to be. So I scoured the internet, figured, all right, I'd find something, look at their business plan, tweak it, and make it work for me. Not so much. So I had to create the program from the ground up. So I put together a committee with teachers, principals, psychologists, healthcare workers, and together we put this together. I said, this is what I want to do. Will this work, or would this not work? Most of the time, they said it will work. I guess I just had a knack for figuring out what they want to do. In your neurotypical driver's ed, okay, it's 3 hours a day, hour and a half in the car, hour and a half in the classroom, 16 sessions, boom, you're done. Go take your road test. Okay. It's like throwing them to the sharks. Somebody with special needs, you cannot put in a classroom with 36 people, sensory overload. Okay. So your neurotypical, which like I said, is 16 sessions, either twice a week for 8 weeks or once a week for 16 weeks. This program is 48 weeks long.
Yeah.
It's 4 phases. We help them get their permit. We go into another phase, which is a simulator and a golf cart and then a real car. Each phase reinforces the phase before it, and we take our time. Okay, it's not like boom, here, you're done, pass the test, go take a road test. Doesn't work that way in this one. We move at their pace. And that's how we designed the program. And it's been very, very successful. I had a double hitter the other day. I had two pass their road test. I think now I'm up to 12 or 13. I'm at a 40, roughly 45% pass rate on them getting their license. And that's 12 or 13 people that can now be an effective part of society, do what they want to do. Socialization is a big thing with this. A lot of people that they're introverts, and I'm sure you come up against that all the time. First two people I had that got their license are now didn't know each other from Adam. They're now best friends. They go to each other's houses, they go on vacation together, whatever it may be. So it doesn't just teach you to get your license. It teaches you how to interact with people. Socialization.
Yeah, I'm hearing that so many times we focus on the outcome, like getting your license, the outcome of, and it's kind of like going to, I know it's not going to seem like it makes sense, but I promise it does. It's like, I go to the grocery store, you go to Whole Foods or Aldi or Key Food, wherever you go to, eat wherever you're from in the world. And sometimes you just want to be in and out, but you sometimes can't, because I like to go to Trader Joe's on a Sunday morning, right? So the journey of standing on that line and looking around and maybe talking to someone next to me and maybe, hey, I have some time to text back my mom. My point is, there's this mindset around, okay, if I can't get to my outcome of like the checkout within 10 minutes, I'll just take my time. I'll take my time and I'll see what are the opportunities along the way. And so what you're saying is that this is a journey. This isn't just like, okay, they're in and out. Let's get them their license. If they failed today, it's about the license. It's really, you're saying it's about the relationships, the socialization, the learnings along the way. And so the way that you frame the program, your approach, and what parents can do at home, even in their way of talking about things, is it's about a journey. It's
Exactly.
not the outcome of getting your license.
Right. That's a great way of putting it. It's a journey to, something incredible. Unlike, going in and getting what you need and getting out, like your neurotypical, go get your license and move on. With this, that's exactly what it is. And I love it. I can't express. Don't get me wrong. When anybody gets their license that goes through either one of my programs, I'm happy. But with this one, it's just it's more of a bumpy road, but they finally get to the smooth part. I had one student that it took them 4 times to get their license. When he finally passed his license, he was ecstatic. And I tried to explain to him in the beginning, and he was fine with it, that neurotypical people may not get it the first time. It could take them 2 or 3 times to pass their road test. So when they pass their road test, whether it's on the first shot or the 5th shot, they get it done. I have a sign, right on my desk that says, never, never, never give up. Keep trying. Don't give up. You will get there. I have a saying, okay? Passion and dedication and hard work will ultimately give you, oh God, I can't even remember the name of it already.
You say it so much.
Success. There we go. Success.
Yeah. Say it again. Passion, dedication, and hard work.
Passion and dedication and hard work will ultimately give you success.
I love that. Joel, what happens with, because this is like a family affair. I can't imagine the families just drop their kids off. I'm sure they want to be involved. What are some of or some are don't, some are probably like, Joel, just take my child and do what you do and then bring them back.
Well, a lot of times we don't recommend that the parent or a staff stays with them in the class, because a lot of times it can be a distraction.
Okay.
Because then they're paying attention to, let's just say it's their mother, for argument's sake. The teacher asks a question and he's going to look over at his mother. Maybe not. but it can be a distraction. We want more of the one-on-one with the teacher and the student, so we know we have their undivided attention to make sure that they do understand what's going on and how the class is progressing.
I love that. Is there a portion for parents? Is there anything that you prepare them or tell them or advise them to do or not do? Or who do parents have to be to support their child through this journey?
That word you just said, support.
Just
They
support.
just need to support their child. Like I said, there are different phases of the program. We tell them to work with them as much as possible as they can. If they start in phase 1 with the permit, they get a book to take home and they use it. And there's 2 or 3 questions after each chapter. We tell them that there are practice exams through DMV. DMV has a bank of about 200 questions to choose from for the permit exam.
Wow.
So the more times they take one of the practice exams, I think it's like either 5 or 10 questions, the better that they'll do. So
Okay.
we tell them to work with that. Also, once the child or the student gets their permit, I tell the parent, listen, if you're comfortable, get them into a big open parking lot. The more practice they get, not only the better that they're going to do, the more confident they'll be. That's why my program is structured the way it is. So this way you're not going from 0 to 100 in the drop of a dime. You're going from 0 to 20 to 40 and then so forth.
I love
It's
it.
a nice, easy transition.
You just reminded me, my dad used to take us to Shea Stadium. At the time it was Shea Stadium. And he used to, and I was much younger. This was not, I did not have my license or my permit. We were kids. Dad, I'm sorry I'm saying this live, and I don't know, it'll be in the ether forever. But we're past the point. I've survived. But yeah, I just remember that being so like exhilarating and scary and just feeling so special. And it's really something. Do you, when you work with these kids, what is the number one thing that stands in the way? Is it the mindset of I can't do this, or I'm not like everyone else, or is it
I would say that's a fair statement. What the biggest thing that stands in their way is their mindset and their confidence. If they doubt themselves, I would say, yeah, that's the biggest, because there's a lot of things that go along with it, not just the mindset, there's coordination, but if you have the mindset that you can do it and you keep practicing it, you'll get it, which is why we go from a simulator to a golf cart, to an actual driving school car, because it gets them used to, working with the steering wheel and the foot pedals and the blinker. There's a lot of people don't realize what it is to drive. Okay, more so for these students.
yeah. I love the simulator part. I just see myself like playing video games and it just like feeling like a video game. Do they love that?
They do. But the difference is it's the program that's on the simulator was specifically designed for driver's education, which is why I use it for part of my program. But it's a really expensive video game. So when you're on this and you turn the steering wheel, the screen looks like it turns. When you get into a golf cart and you turn the steering wheel, guess what? You turn. So it starts giving them the feeling of what it's like when something actually turns. They can feel it turning. They can feel themselves slowing down. They're looking in different directions. It gives them that mechanical feeling of the vehicle. And that's why we start in the golf cart and then we go up, to the actual car. So by the time they get into an actual car, they're more comfortable with the way that it operates and the way that it feels, instead of just sitting in, a really big piece of metal.
Yeah. Wow. I was just at an arcade. A guy I went on a date with took me at an arcade about 2 months ago, and good God, I will not be trying that at home because the racetrack is very different than your side of the street kind of stuff. But that's very, very cool, Joel. I want you to talk a little bit about your program, and also while you share about it and how people can get involved, I want to be mindful that so many people that watched do not reside near the program that you run. And
Mhm.
so I would love for you to also share a little bit about if parents are anxious and they really want to make sure that they find like the school that's right for them and their family and their child.
Mhm.
What are some, like when people say to me, how do I find my own therapist? How do I know? And I'm like, okay, definitely ask these three questions and, you can gauge. What are some things that parents can do to make sure that they get a little bit of confidence around who they're choosing to support their child if it's not your program, if they don't live anywhere near you?
Right. Well, as far as the program goes, I'm it. There isn't any
That's
other.
it.
Like I said, I still search to see to do more research and find out if there's anything like it. There's not, to the extent that I'm familiar with anyway. I'm not going to say there's not, but from my research, I haven't found anything to the extent that my program is. You may find programs out there that will work with people with some sort of a disability, but they have to have their permit, then they get them in the car and they work with them. Where this program starts from scratch. You
Yeah, they
don't
don't
have a
even have to have
permit.
their permit.
You don't have to. Like I said, there are 4 phases. Phase one, and it goes 8 weeks, 16 weeks, 8 weeks, 16 weeks. Phase
Mhm.
one is we help them get their permit. Phase two is a simulator. Phase three is the golf cart, and phase four is the actual car. So I have a lot of students that already have a permit. Okay, they just start in phase two. There's no reason to do phase one. So when you want to find out if they even want to drive for, I mean, somebody that's dead set against it, it's a mindset. You're going to need to talk to them a little bit more and use the analogy that I did about, getting somebody off the road. Um, the programs that I have right now are primarily on Long Island. It's also in the first college ever to have this program in Adelphi at the Bridges program. They run the program out of.
I went to
Yep,
Delphi,
yep.
so
Woohoo. Thank
yeah.
you, Adelphi. And they actually just did an article on the program. But the good thing about this is I can take this program anywhere. In neurotypical driver's ed in New York State, you're under the umbrella of New York State Education and DMV, and there are specific guidelines and rules that you have to follow. If you want a license under the age of 18, you must take a certified driver's ed program, whether it's mine, a high school, or anybody else. That's it, period. This program, the way that it was designed is to where they're not going to go for their license until they're at least 18. Takes New York State education completely out of the picture. Okay. So I don't have to follow those rules and guidelines. I still have to follow the guidelines and the laws of New York State, which I do. But I don't have to do it the way that New York State education does it because it's not out of the school. They're not doing it, under the age of 18. I can take the program pretty much anywhere I want. If there are people that are interested in the program and they're nowhere near me, my only requirement is I have to have a minimum of 3 students and I won't go over 12 and a space. That's really it. You supply me with a space. I would hire the teacher. If I can get a golf cart, donated or to use up there, that's fantastic. If not, we would take care of it. And then I just have to find a driving school in the area, to work with me. That's it. So if there's somebody in Westchester County, okay, I want the program. I want to do it for my son. Well, if you can supply me with the space, whether it's at a high school, a rec center, whatever it may be, okay, obviously not a private home, then that's all I need. All the advertising, all the marketing, will do. I'll find the right teacher. I usually only hire special ed teachers, and we go from there. And that's how we started in all these other programs.
I love it, not just because it's effective, but you have really just taken the time to create something that serves the person. And what I mean by that is you just take the person where they're at. You
Right,
look down to where your feet are with them and you just kind of start from there. And
right,
that to me is really effective work. It's more than just dropping, a name of a driving school and saying just go do it. You really are taking that time to get to know someone, start where they're at, and it's this process and journey that you kind of handhold them through. And I just love it so much. It just feels just taken care of, right? And I
Mhm.
think that that's how I think the families you work with feel taken care of.
It's, and it's ongoing. I mean, the course is being tweaked, all the time because different things change. You find a new way to teach something, whatever it may be. So the program for the itself, the entire program is what it is, but there are little nuances. Okay, a lot of little things that are going to be changed, going to be tweaked to you find a new way of, showing somebody what to do, a new analogy. The easiest way for me to explain things and the way that I do it, to break things down. If I was to say to you, what's a shoulder? What would you do? Okay. Okay. Now think about your driving. What's the shoulder?
Oh, it's the side of the road.
Shoulder of the
Did I
road.
get that
Right. That's
right?
just, it's, that's right. You are. That's right. That's just the, that's the easiest way for me to explain it. Like two and two.
Yeah.
There's easy ways to get your point across to where they can understand it. They know shoulder, that you're in an environment, the shoulder of the road you're driving. So when you're driving and someone says, watch out for the shoulder, you're not going to go like this. You're going to look at the shoulder of the road.
I love
Um, so that's a very simple analogy that I like to use when explaining how we do it.
Joel, is there anything else that I didn't ask you about that you really, really want to share with people? And if not, I would love to know, how can people find you? Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, go ahead.
Um, the program is fantastic. I love it. It works. The easiest way to find me is, my website, it's called the Gersh Driver's Ed Extended Program. My website is Gersh, Gersh, Academy Drivers Ed.com. You'll see a link that says Extended Program. Phone number to my office is 631-416-7224. I'm more than happy to, explain everything. I can do presentations, whether it's in person, which I prefer, but I'll do Zoom, whatever it is. Getting the word out is probably the most important, for me, is to let people know that this is available. I can't tell you how many times a parent comes to me and says, I have been looking for something like this and I've searched the internet and can't find anything,
Yep.
which in a way makes me feel good because I know I did my job by searching and didn't find anything. Um, there's information I can send. I go to, like, where we met at the expo in the city. I'm doing a resource fair. If anyone's in Nassau County, I'm doing a resource fair at the Belmore Merrick. I don't remember what school it is, but it's the Belmore Merrick Resource Fair, which I'm doing this evening.
Amazing.
Um, I get out there and, I get the word out. Like,
Yeah, you do.
before, when we first started, I told you I just came back from the annual PTA convention
I
for
love that.
SEPTA. It's
Yeah,
all about getting the word. If people don't know about it, there's
yeah.
nothing you can do. But I'm
Well,
here to answer any questions whenever.
I'm so, so glad. Thank you for having this conversation with me.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, you're
Wait
welcome.
this.
Yeah, you're welcome. And for everyone watching, I was on with Joel Geller, and please do reach out to him. Wealth of information, heart of gold. It's obvious. Just look at him and radiating passion. And catch me on the next interview. I'm going to be speaking with so many other people, just like Joel, as inspiring as Joel, in supporting you on your parenthood journey and your kids and family. You can catch me on Growing Kind Minds and also Permission Slip Parenting on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and all of that. And you can also find me online, growingkindminds.com. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Joel, thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
Yes, it was fun. Okay.
That was fun.